Hello. As a continuation of the previous discussion where we were talking about the basics of indirect formula, we this time take care of experiment number 2. Now, by now you would be wondering where the indirect formula could actually be applied, and this will be the starting of the answer seeking exercise. We have 3 columns, so Jan, Feb, March, and each of them has 2 numbers based below it. So that Jan 1 2, Feb 3 4, March 5 6. Now we want a mechanism by which if I change the yellow cell to, let's say, MAR, I should be getting answer 11. If I write Feb, then I should be getting answer as 7, basically a sum of the numbers underneath it. Now one option could be that you start using if. People do that. They say if the cell is equal to Feb, then in that case it should fetch me a summation of these 2 values. Perfect. Else please go ahead and ask another question. If the same cell A15 is equal to JAN, that in double quotation, then in that case sum should be based on these 2 values. Else sum should be based on the MAR. Closing the brackets once again, and that's the formula. Now notice, just for 3 months the formula length is so large. Imagine if you had 12 months data, the length of the formula would have been 4 times this. So we want a faster and easier mechanism which gives us the answer in a very small and easy formula, and the main point is it should not increase in length the moment more months come into the picture. Now let's see how to achieve this. First, I'm going to choose these 1 and 2 and name this as JAN. You can use uppercase, lowercase in writing the name JN, but make sure that after writing the name you press enter. If you have these 2 cells FEB, enter. These 2 cells I am writing MAR and pressing enter. So henceforth I have 3 more names: Feb pointing to these 2 cells, Jan pointing to these 2, and March MAR to these cells. So now what if I write some formula and this sum needs a location from where the numbers must be picked for totaling up? Now the location is dependent on the yellow cell. Basically this is the desk where address chit is mentioned. If address changes, the sum formula will go to a different address. But who will lead me to this address? The concept of redirection, that is going to be given by indirect formula. So indirect, go to this particular cell that contains the address chit, and this will tell you where to go. So as of now Feb is pointing to where? 3 and 4, and because of which I'm getting 7. By the way, if you wanted to know what is going on in Excel's mind, you can simply choose the indirect formula starting right from I, ending till the bracket of indirect, and pressing function key F9. So the moment I change this to Jan, I get 3. The moment I change this to MAR, I'm getting 5 plus 6. So internally what is happening? Indirect is a formula which is going to this desk. It is taking the address and going to the right location, and these 2 numbers, once it is fed to the sum formula, it quickly adds up the numbers. Now you might tell me, look, if there are 9 more months of data, do I need to name these 2 cells respectively for all the remaining 9 months? No. Let's see fast how this can be done. Let's say I have data till December, and what I'm doing is I'm simply going to add plus 1 to the previous cell so that we populate a random set of numbers for our exercise. Now instead of naming them individually as APR, MAY, JUN, JUL, I can choose the entire block including the name. As discussed in one of the previous videos with respect to names, mass name or bulk naming, we have a technique with us. That is, you go to formulas tab and there's a button called create from selection. Primarily it points to the fact that you can create the names from the selected area. So I click on create from selection, and it says create names from selection, and take the names from where? From the top row. If I press OK, it seems that nothing has happened on my screen, but to know more, let's look at the drop down of the name box. Whoa, I'm getting all the names of the month in the 3-letter format which has been given in the heading. Just for testing, if I put, let's say, JUL, let's point these 2 cells, And to make the formula work, I'll simply modify the drop down list such that it incorporates other 9 months. So I go to the yellow cell, data tab, within which look for data validation, click on data validation. The item suggests that allow a list, but the source is restricted to only these 3 cells. So let me change those 3 selections right from Jan till December, and as I press OK, this drop down has all the 12 months value. So if I now choose AUG, let me check, 10 plus 11, 21. So there you go. With the same length of that formula, we are able to derive an answer right from Jan till December. This is using the technique of indirect and naming, and which will use it in a much more powerful manner in the next few videos. Till then, practice this exercise where we also saw how to bulk name a particular range.